Have you ever tried one of those super popular productivity systems only to watch it just completely fall apart after like a week? Yeah, you're not alone. And here's the thing, it is not your fault. Today, we're cracking open a user manual that's designed specifically for the unique wiring of the ADHD brain. So let's get into it and figure out how to work with your brain, not against it. And we're going to start right here with what is probably the most important sentence in this entire guide. So much of the frustration we feel comes from trying to jam this incredible, unique brain into a neurotypical box. The second you stop seeing it as broken and start seeing it as just different, well, that changes everything. I absolutely love this analogy. We're not talking about some clunky, broken down engine here. We're talking about a high-performance machine. It's powerful, it's fast, and it can do some incredible things. But yeah, it handles a little differently. It needs a very specific set of controls, its own unique user manual, to really let it fly without spinning out. Okay, so the very first step in writing that manual is to understand the hardware, right? We have to decode the unique operating system of the ADHD brain to know what we're working with. So the heart of this operating system is something called executive function. Think of it like the CEO or the air traffic controller of your brain. Now, here's what's fascinating. A leading researcher, Dr. Russell Barkley, found that people with ADHD can have about a 30 to 40% developmental delay in this area. And that explains so much, doesn't it? It's why those standard planners can feel like they're written in a totally different language. Let's just zoom in on one piece of that puzzle, working memory. It's basically your brain's temporary sticky note. Before the ADHD brain, that sticky note, well, let's just say it's not very sticky. This diagram here shows a brilliant strategy called the touch it once rule. So when something comes in, an email, an idea, a task, you act on it right then and there. You either do it, delegate it, or schedule it. You just don't let it sit around where it's probably going to vanish into thin air. Okay, so now we get the wiring a little bit better, but let's flip the script here. This isn't just about managing the hard stuff. It's about harnessing the incredible strengths that actually come with that unique wiring. This table is where things get really cool because it reframes everything. You know that tendency to jump between a million ideas? That's not a flaw, that's creativity and innovation. That ability to get completely lost in something for hours? That's hyperfocus. It's a productivity superpower when you aim it at the right thing. This shows us how to stop fighting these traits and actually build systems around them. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The goal is not to become neurotypical. No way. The goal is to become the absolute best, most effective version of you. It's about building a system and a life that actually celebrates the way you think. So if the internal wiring is unique, it only makes sense that we need to build a unique external framework to support it. This is where we get super practical, and we're going to focus on the two things we all have to deal with, our physical space and our time. Let's talk about space first. It's been shown that a cluttered environment literally restricts your brain's ability to focus. So what's the solution? Strategic zones, just like you see here. You create dedicated spots for different activities. And this isn't just about being neat, it's about lowering the cognitive load on your brain so it doesn't have to work so hard just to get started. And right there with space is time. For so many people with ADHD, time just feels different. It can be tough to feel time passing, which is a real thing called time blindness. So instead of fighting it, we build a system that works with it. This cycle is perfect. First, you understand your own unique energy rhythms. Then you create a framework around them. And then you put it into action with flexible time blocks. And that's the key difference, right? A traditional schedule is rigid. It just assumes your focus and energy are the same all day long, which, let's be real, is never true, especially for an ADHD brain. An ADHD-friendly system, on the other hand, is flexible. It matches your tasks to your energy levels, it builds in buffer times you can switch gears, and it even makes room for those awesome periods of hyperfocus. Okay, having a great framework is awesome, but making it actually stick, that's a whole other ballgame. And that's where we have to get into the science of building habits that are designed for the ADHD brain from the ground up. 40%! According to researchers, that is how much of our daily life is run by our habits. Almost half of everything you do is basically on autopilot. So the goal here is to build an autopilot system that actually works for you, so it cuts down on decision fatigue and frees up your amazing brain for the important stuff. Now this right here might be one of the most powerful ideas in the whole guide, a resilient habit system. So instead of having one rigid habit that you either do or you don't, you create different versions for different energy levels. High energy day, you do the full 30-minute workout. Super low energy day, you just do 5 minutes of stretching. The point is, you never break the chain. You keep the momentum going, and that is everything. All right, we've looked at the operating system, our strengths, the external frameworks, and our habits. Now it's time to put it all together into one single integrated system for success. And here it is. This is your personalized support system. It all starts with understanding your brain's executive function. Then you use that knowledge to design your environment and build a time framework that actually works for you. You make it all stick with those resilient habits. And the whole thing is powered by wellness, sleep, nutrition, exercise, because that's the premium fuel you need for your high-performance brain. See how it all connects? So we'll leave it with this question. Just forget trying to force your brain into some box it was never, ever designed to fit in. Instead, just imagine, what if you built a custom-made launch pad for it? What could you really, truly accomplish if you embraced its unique power and gave it exactly the tools it needs to fly?